Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome back to our Phoenix Airbus A321. Today we'll have a look at a couple of brand new add-ons all by themselves here. So we're going to start with Unibuild's lovely New York JFK scenery, which is just really good. And then we're going to fly over to MK Studios' Seattle scenery, which has just been released not so long ago, and which is most definitely a very interesting airport. I'm really happy to see that we've got something like Seattle available in the quality of MK Studios. Something that's really worth mentioning here as well is the quality of our lovely Delta Airlines plane, because this is definitely a really old aircraft, as you can see. And apparently they didn't take care of it very well, did they? But at least everybody knows what it is, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Also, before we start, I would like to thank the sponsor of this video, Say Intentions AI. If you don't know them, Say Intentions is an AI air traffic control program that we are going to use for the entirety of today's flight. And while obviously not 100% perfect just yet, and while the AI can't bring it all the way up to VATSIM just yet, for all those times where you don't have any online ATC available, or in case you just don't want to fly online for whatever reason, they're a very good alternative. So let's check them out in today's flight and let's see how we are going to enjoy them. Also, worth mentioning, they don't only do ATC, they also have cabin crew, for example, who can make customized announcements based on the SIMBRI flight data that ATC is using. So they'll have things like the flight number, your airline, the departure, the destination, the flight time, the altitudes, and all that good stuff in their announcements. Sounds pretty cool. So we are going to make good use of them on today's flight. Alright, and with that out of the way, welcome to the A321 cockpit. We are going to start right down here in the electronic flight bag, import our SIMBRI flight plan, and then we're going to have a look at what we're going to do today. Departure in 16 minutes, and over here, if we start on the tab of the weather charts, this is what our route of flight looks like today. Pretty much a straightforward flight. We don't have anything on the significant weather chart for the first half. The second half is going to enter this area over here, marked with number 1, and that's moderate turbulence until flight level 400. Starting roundabout in the area of the Rocky Mountains and then just leading us all the way to the destination. So the first half of the flight is probably going to be very smooth, the second half maybe not so much. In terms of weather, Kennedy International has wind 3309 at 9, gust 16, 25 degrees outside. For this reason we have already started our APU in order to provide air conditioning to the aircraft. Seattle then, quite different, 13 degrees only, variable winds at the moment, and it's going to turn southerly throughout the day, so I'm expecting to land on runway 16 today, and our alternate port land has showers of rain, but apart from that, good weather conditions. So overall it's pretty good for flying. And then we can have a look at the operational flight plan down here. They want us to leave with, well, 39.4 plus 500, so basically with 40,000 pounds of gas in the tanks. Do we want to take anything extra? Well, we need only marginally extra fuel in case we gain any zero fuel weight, and for the cost index, honestly, that's pretty much nothing here we can gain, so we are just going to stick to our cost index. So 40,000 pounds of gas it is. Then let's head over here into the weight and balance menu, and 40,000 is what we are going to take, which is pretty much a full house. And then we can apply that and load the aircraft, use GSX for boarding and refueling, please. And then let's get going. So with those basics now out of the way, let's close that GSX window and start setting up our aircraft. I'm going to start with the preliminary cockpit inspection over here. So the thrust levers in idle, engine master levers off, mode selector in norm, landing gear lever is down, the wipers are off. We don't need to check the battery as it's basically running already, and as the aircraft is powered already. So next step, IRS is 1, 2 and 3 coming on. Fire test, especially the APU fire test, is looking good, and then we can do the same thing for the engines real quick here as well. Then we have that done already. It's not officially part of the procedure just yet, but if we're on the panel already, so be it. Alright, cool. So that thing is done. Then let's go ahead and set up our RMPs, respectively radio management panels. So starting on the Kennedy Airport chart down here, let's get that up. What do we have? ATIS departure 128725 and clearance on 13505. So 135.05 in here, and what's the ATIS? 128725. Well, 28725. Let's listen to the ATIS.
ITY of the airport. Advise on initial contact. You have information Tango. John F. Kennedy International Airport, information Tango. 1651 Zulu. Wind 340 at 9 or gusting 16. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, view at 25,000 feet. Temperature 25. Dew point 6. Altimeter 3019er. Density altitude 900 feet. Arriving runways 31 right, 4 right. Departing runways 31 left, 4 left, 31 right, 4 right. Unknown drone activity in the vicinity of the airport. Advise on initial contact. You have information Tango.
Okay, so information Tango is on board, runways 4 left right as expected. That's quite okay. So then loudspeakers to somewhere in the middle so that they don't blast our ears completely. Cockpit lights are set, EFB is set, then we can do our acceptance, so recall, 1, 2, 3, and the recall is good. There's nothing in the logbook. Aircraft is an A321 with CFM engines and sharklets fitted to our aircraft. Then there's always that. They've just started our catering, so things are probably going to take a little while here. Well, no OEBs on this one. Now let's go into the preliminary departure. So Kennedy for left dry, synchronize the preliminary load sheet and the weather. Do we have any intersections? No. Then we calculate the full length, flaps to 47 degrees and pretty high speeds down here, but absolutely possible. Okay. So then we are just going to accept this down here. Now the before walk around check, oxygen is good, hydraulic quantities are good, engine oil quantity is good. The flap lever agrees, speed brakes retracted. Let's just release that parking brake and test our brakes, which isn't working, so it's probably unassigned my aircraft controls. Or rather, since Phoenix has so many different profiles, which I really think PMDG and INI have made quite a bit better. Yeah, we just gotta reassign our controls. So you can see I created a general profile over here for our stick, and then for the throttle I also have a general profile here. Let's assign that one, and last but not least we are going to select the thrust lever configuration, as I have created different configurations there, like all engines one lever, that's especially for a 4-engine aircraft. And then 2 thrust levers, that's the one I'm using for aircrafts like the Airbuses. And here you can see now everything works. Now brake check is looking good as well. Then we can set that parking brake again, and here we go. Alright, cool. So that's all this stuff completed here. Then we can go right into the pre-flight procedures. Let's see, the catering vehicles should be leaving, and they are. Let's see what's going on in the back. Looks like they haven't quite started the boarding yet, but that's fine. Alright, so let's go ahead and start our procedures. We picked the airplane up from another cruise, so it may be in a little bit of a mess here in terms of the configuration, so very careful checking is required. The seatbelt sign stays off for now, since we still have 20,000 pounds of fuel to uplift. And the same goes for our pumps. We can turn them on, but there's really, to two different sets of opinions amongst Airbus pilots in terms of what the fuel pumps are, of when the fuel pumps are supposed to be on. Airbus basically says turn them on. Doesn't matter if you're still refueling, turn them on. But then there are pilots who say like, nah, if I turn them on now I might get some faults in the system, so I don't really want to turn them on just yet. So, different opinions. The technically correct way would be to turn them on, but as mentioned. So, why do we have the ATC fail light? That's definitely not supposed to be there. That's actually on both sides. The attendant call button is also on over here and can't be resetted, so looks like our aircraft may have a couple of technicals after all. So that's interesting. Let me just try something. I'm gonna change that squawk and just see if that's getting recognized. And indeed it is. Okay, so we'll just ignore the ATC fail light. In the real world, obviously we wouldn't do that. In the real world, that would be our signal to go right back into maintenance. So I would absolutely call the engineers now. What we can do over here is just to check if there's any random faults enabled. So is there anything currently failed? No. Anything armed? No. Reload? IRS alignment. Well, I guess that's because it's still in progress. Shouldn't cause the ATC fail light, but let's see what's happening. Will be interesting to see if the IRS alignment actually fails. We're going to keep an eye on that. Otherwise we're not flying anyway, so that's kind of trivial, isn't it? Alright, well, and then we can already go into our FMS. So first of all into the ACAS, that's the edition number 1. Here's the low-cheat edition number 2. Delta 740 on the 365 Delta November, which is our airplane. And 149.1. What's the limiting figure here? Landing weight, okay. So we can take 15.7 extra. 190 guests on board and 40,000 in the tanks. That's looking good, we can accept this. So something that I would really hope for Phoenix to implement in the future would be the ability to request the ADAS from say intentions, because over here you can only currently request VATSIM or IVAO. And obviously, since we are using neither, it would be nice if they were able to get the ADAS from say intentions AI as well. Okay, anyway, that's this part down here. Then let's go into the FMS setup. A321-200 CFM engines, nav database up to date. Init, request. And this might of course take a little while now. What we can do in the meantime is we'll just quickly go back into the ATSU, AOC menu, ATC request, and pre-departure clearance. So we had ADAS Tango if I'm not mistaken. The station is going to be JFK, and the gate number here is... do we have one over here? Of course not. Then we gotta look it up in the charts. So all ground charts, terminal, no, that's the coordinates, parking gates, terminal 4 up here. So terminal 4 stand 15 is where we are on. Alright, JFK to Seattle, Delta 740, gate 15, ADAS Tango, A321, station Kennedy. Sent. Invalid flight plan uplink. Huh. Interesting. This plane really seems to have some issues. But look at that, IRS alignment is complete. However, the transponder fail light is still there.
Boarding has started and the first passengers are aboard the plane.
Okay, thanks. Let's
Ladies and
just
gentlemen,
try
on
the
behalf of Delta
uplink
Airlines,
once again.
welcome aboard
Either
Flight
this is going to
740
work,
to
if not,
Seattle.
then we'll just have to
We
type it
kindly
all
ask you to
manually.
take your seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats in front of you.
So
If
ADAS
you need
is
any
of course not
assistance,
available
please
as
do not
explained.
hesitate to contact our
DDC
crew.
request
Thank you
received
for flying
standby.
with us today.
Okay, and it looks like it's actually not uplinking anything here. Then we'll type it ourselves. So JFK to Seattle, and the alternate is going to be Portland. Flight number is Delta 740, cost index 20, flight level 320. And here comes our clearance. So request is being processed, stand by. Yep. Okay, that's our PDC right there. So, clear to Seattle, maintain 4000, departure on 125.7, squawk 4652, expect runway 4 left. Okay. In the real world I'll print this now, but we can't do that in here, so we'll go Wilco and send. So, 4000 feet. Set and 4652. Alright, cool. So let's just help ourselves here. Simbrief, flight plan. Because now, of course, we gotta program that entire route. Alright, so departing JFK, departure for left, Kennedy 5. Actually no sit, since they didn't clear us for any over here. Insert. Then the routing is gonna be by Cody. So Cody, then Airways. So Quebec 436. On to Quebec 440. Is that by Iraq? Yes, it is. And that's towards Huffer. So from Huffer we proceed direct Kilo Papa 06 Charlie. Then we continue via Kilo Uniform 12 Uniform. And direct Mike Lima Papa. That's got to be that one. Insert, and that's onto the Glazer 3 arrival. Probably 16 right. So we'll just enter it like this. Alright, cool. And since we programmed this manually, we gotta do a cross-check. So, JFK 4 left, radar vectors towards Cody. Over here we're basically looking for anything that looks out of the ordinary. I mean, this is a pretty straight line here for the entire arrival. Ground distance 2129 and it should be 2144, so that's close enough. So I'd say this is absolutely okay over here. So secondary copy active, and that's gonna become the emergency. So KJFK 04 left slash 043 slash 25. We'll put that in here, including a holding at 043 right hand turns, and then immediate return KJFK, new destination, arrival ILS 4 right, and that's it. So same thing in here. Okay, so data in it, and I think we can take this one straight from the load sheet. So we're looking at 149.1, and the CG for this is 26.8. Alright, block fuel 40. Then, since we probably don't have any data link available for the winds, let's enter the average, headwind 23. Okay, and now for the fuel figures, alternate is 3.1, final 2.7, and the reserve 1. Alright, and this should be fine. 17 minutes extra. Quick check on the init page, minus 47 degrees, is that right? Yeah, it is, and the tropopause is in 42,000. Okay, cool. So that's it. Then let's go on with the performance figures. And we'll take those from the EFB, of course. Aircraft loaded. Excellent. So let's synchronize the final load sheet here, if we have it already, which it seems we do. Let's see. Yeah, the final is here already. Excellent. So let's just compare the numbers we've just entered. 149.1 is good, 26.8 is good, 40,000 pounds is good, 23.3, and accept. Alright, nice. Then let's go ahead and enter those figures. So 160, 167, 167. Reduction, acceleration, no, we'll make that 1000 each. And the engine out acceleration of 1500 is good. So, flaps 2, and the trim is correct in here, so that's up 1.4 at 47 degrees. Alright, excellent. Over here everything's in. Let's see, green dot 239 versus 239. That's good. Alright, so that's our data entry completed. So just to confirm, no SID, which is correct according to the clearance. Squawk 4652 is also correct. We'll see about the ATC fail light, if we actually get any trouble with ATC. I honestly don't expect so. Let's just close this. One thing we can do real quick though, just to see if that might have contributed here, is just to check the circuit breakers, making sure that every one of them is in. And it looks good on the overhead panel. Let's also check the sides, just to be sure that there is nothing popped. But this actually looks quite good. Doesn't look like there's anything popped. Nope. Okay, that's fine. Let's see, where's the transponder CB? I'm just thinking about pulling it just to reset it. But I don't actually know where it is on the A320 series. On the 330 that thing would be easy, because you just have the reset buttons on the overhead panel and it isn't many of them. But for the 320 I can't really find them in here. So it's not the instrument system, it's not the ADS, it must be over here under COM and nav. But I don't see anything that would fit. Oh, here's ATC2. So we'll pull that one. Then let's see on the overhead, COM nav, where is it? Here, COM and ATC1. Perfect. So we'll just give it a short while, see what's gonna happen. Now we can see the entire transponder is out down there, because the circuit breakers are pulled. This is typical how to cure an Airbus, by the way. This is just how it works. So we've waited long enough. ATC1 back in, and ATC2 back in. Let's see what's gonna happen. Yeah, the ATC fail light is fixed. Wonderful. So the last thing here is the attendant call button. That would be the CIDS. Let's see if we can reset that one as well. Should also be under COM, I guess. Well, interphone 1 and 2, is that it? No, we can't pull that one. That's not simulated. Well, up here we have CIDS. I honestly am not 100% sure about those, so we'll just pull them all. Just see what's gonna happen. This is normally the moment where the flight attendants will start coming in like, Captain, there's something not working. And then you just tell them, yeah, because we're resetting the system. But okay, that doesn't seem to have any effect here. So we'll just put them back in. And that's it. Okay. Cool. So we'll close the doors and we'll just get going. I can live with that light being illuminated. They can still call us whenever they need to. So Squawk is still in. The rest is looking good here. Let's just check transponder 2. Also good. Perfect. Alright, so the problem is indeed solved. Wonderful. Nothing left over here. I like it. So then let's find the frequency for Kennedy ground. So ground 1219. Okay, cool. So everything's set over here. I will quickly say hello to our guests and then we can get our aircraft ready. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel in the name of Delta Airlines. Welcome aboard our Airbus A321 on our flight to Seattle. Flight time today will be approximately 5.5 hours. We expect a smooth flight for the first half, a couple bumps on the second half. So please do keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you're in your seat, even if the fasten seatbelt sign is not illuminated. For the time being, thank you very much for being our guest. Sit back, relax, enjoy the flight with us. If there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please don't hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. Thank you very much for your attention, and again, welcome aboard. Alright, so far so good. Then I will tell the ground staff to start getting the airplane ready here. And here is one fault light too many, AC essential feed. Well, let's
Ladies and gentlemen,
try to reset
on behalf
that.
of Delta Airlines, welcome aboard Flight 740 to Seattle. My name is Taylor, and I am your lead
That might of
flight
course
attendant.
be
Joining me in the cabin are my
part of the
wonderful
reason for
colleagues,
all the issues
Sarah,
here,
Mike, Jessica,
but
and
everything's
Kate.
looking good, so
We are
we'll ignore that.
thrilled
Let's see what's
have you
going to
with us
happen after
today.
engine start.
Our estimated flight time is approximately
Okay,
5
then let's go for our
hours
briefing,
and 9
please.
minutes. Before we take off, I would like to take a moment to
Alright,
go over
so
some important
departing Kennedy runway 4 left,
First,
radar
please
vector
ensure
departure,
that your
initial
seatbelt
climb
is fastened
4,000,
low
3,000
right
keeps us
across the
safe in the
platform.
area,
To
and
fasten
extra
your
fuel
seatbelt,
and
insert the metal
time
fitting into the buckle
is
and place your
17
ear clip.
minutes,
To
1,300
release it,
pounds.
simply lift the buckle. In the event of a loss of cabin pressure,
Right, thanks for that.
oxygen
So we
masks
are going to
will
depart,
drop down from the panel above you. To use
or
the
we are going
mask,
to
pull
taxi
it
out,
towards you to
crossing
start
one
the
runway.
flow of
That's going to be
oxygen.
crossing
Place
31
it over
left,
your nose
which
and
is
mouth,
our hotspot.
securing
Stop
it with
margin
an
is
elastic
plenty,
band.
and engine outset
Remember
straight
to
at
secure
25
your
miles,
elbow
climbing
pads
3,000.
before
Then we
assisting
can come
others.
back
For
for an
water
immediate
landing,
return. It's going to be
life
the
vests are
ILS runway
located
4
under
right,
your seat.
which we have
To use the
prepared
life
on the
vest,
secondary
pull
flight
it out
plan.
of the
We would be
pouch,
above the
place it
maximum
over
landing
your
weight,
head,
so
and
we'll
pull the straps around your
do the
waist.
overweight landing procedure.
Inflate the vest
Apart from
by
that,
pulling the red tabs
I
or
have
by
nothing
pulling into
special,
place.
nothing non-standard.
There are emergency
Vector
exits
departure,
located
so
at the
passing
front, middle,
1513,
and
we
rear of the
will
aircraft.
get the reversion into
Please
heading
take a
mode,
moment to locate the exit
and
nearest
that's
to you,
everything there is
keeping
to
in
it. Any
mind that it may
questions?
be behind you.
No?
In the
Wonderful.
event of an emergency, follow the illuminated exit signs to reach the exit.
So that's our
We
briefing
will be
complete
coming
then.
around shortly to offer you refreshments, and after the meal
I think we
service,
can turn this
we
off
will
again.
have
Let's
items
see what's
available for
actually going to
purchase
happen.
from the Delta shop. Thank you for your
Alright,
attention.
so with that out of the way,
We
cockpit
appreciate
preparation
your
checklist,
cooperation.
please.
Now, I will
Gear
inform
pins and
the
covers
captain that the
removed.
cabin is ready for
Fuel
departure.
quantity 39,940 pounds, and that's balanced. Seatbelts on, ADRs. Nav, barrel ref, QNH 3019. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Alright, so far so good. Then let's go ahead and get our pushback clearance. Actually, are they ready downstairs? Yes, they are. Like it. So, 21.9. Kennedy ground, Delta 740, request pushback and startup.
Delta 740 pushback and startup approved. Tail southwest. And remember, the tug isn't a magic carpet, so contact ramp on 119.9er for that.
Pushback approved, tail southwest, Delta 740. Okay, we'll disregard the ramp over here because that isn't simulated entirely just
Delta
yet.
740 pushback approved. Tail southwest. Contact ramp on 119.9er for the tug.
Pushback approved, tail southwest, Delta 740. Before start checklist. Park and brake. Set. Takeoff speeds and thrust. V1 160, VR 167, V2 167, flex 47. Windows. Closed. Bacon. On and tasty. Before start checklist complete. Ground flight deck. So push approved. Tail southwest and park brake set. Alright, so gotta be facing northeast then. Alright, parking brake released. You let us know when we can start the engines, please. So one of the things that I really like about Saint Engines is that they have so many different voices simulated that you really get some variety. And something that I absolutely love about Saint Engines is that they have the Kennedy Steve. So enjoy the JFK ATC. I really like it. Of course, it isn't like 100% realistic. They did put a little bit of a humoristic approach to it, but I think they've done that really nicely. Okay, so we clear the gate area. Yeah, Satsik fault, come on. Email cancel, and now it should be gone for the rest of the flight. Alright, cool. So, ground flight, starting engines 1 and 2 in sequence. Clear 1, 2. And starting 1. So what's the ramp agent doing down there? Is he still? No, he's safe, okay. So, probably pulling us all the way over there, I guess. Gotta admit, I'm not too familiar with the with anything outside Terminal 7 over here in JFK. But I think this actually is push completed. So brake is set. And we have a good start number 1, starting number 2. Technically speaking, as soon as the start valve is closed down here, you can already commence the second engine start. For good measure, we wait until the veil comes up, and then we start the other engine. And don't ask me why it did this. Absolutely isn't supposed to. So, number 2 is starting. Let's see if number 2 is going to do the same strange small run up. It happened as soon as number 1 was stabilized. But here we go, number 2 actually looks good. Alright, then we have 2 good engine starts. Play disconnect, pin, alright, thank you, bye bye. So what's the trim again? Up 1.4. So something like this. Alright, cool. So that's everything done. Then let's do the after start checklist. Anti-ice, off, ecam status, what's in there? Just the stick, okay, checked. Pitch trim, so 23% set, rudder trim, neutral, after start checklist complete. Let's do the flight controls here, because Kennedy is just a complex airport to taxi. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, and the rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Alright, then let's go. Delta 740, request taxi.
Delta 740, taxi to runway 4 left via Alpha Alpha, Hotel Bravo, Alpha Kilo, cross runway 31 left, then Kilo 2. And remember, the taxiway isn't a racetrack, so no speeding.
Delta 740, taxi runway 4 left via Alpha Alpha, Hotel Bravo, Alpha Kilo, cross 31 left, and Kilo 2, roger. That's what I meant. They went for the humoristic approach here, but it's kind of nice, isn't it? Okay, so we need that parking gate chart here for a moment. So we leave via Alpha Alpha and Hotel Bravo. That would be the wrong direction, my friend. Hotel Bravo. Didn't they say tail southwest? Because that's where it is. Okay, well, we gotta make a 180 then. Should have pushed into the other direction. So Alpha Alpha, Hotel Bravo, and Alpha Kilo. So where is Alpha Kilo? Oh, Alpha and Kilo. Okay, that makes sense now. Right side clear, left side clear. So, very congested area here for a 180. Let's be careful. Brake check. Pressure 0. Okay, so we'll drive it to the left side because the gate is clear. If we stop now, we've basically lost and would need a tuck. But as you can see, if you go into the turn with a couple of knots, then it works fairly fine. Alright. I have to admit, this was a pretty good one. Almost straight back on the center line. So let's keep it at 10 knots here for the apron. You can really feel the weight here. So Alpha Alpha is over here. So not Hotel, but Hotel Bravo. Clear left side and clear right side. Here we go, that is Hotel Bravo indeed. So now we continue straight ahead and then via Alpha and Kilo. So Alpha is going to be the first to the right once we have left the apron. So we are allowed to go up to 15 knots on the apron. I definitely do intend to go that quick here, otherwise things are just going to take ages. But you can definitely see the taxi here in JFK isn't all that easy, especially if you're not all too familiar with the airport. For this reason, doing the flight control check a little earlier and then, you know, having time to focus on your taxi while you do it is, I think, a wise decision. No vehicles coming left and right. So right-hand turn on Alpha. And then the sign over there already says Kilo straight ahead. Okay, so they have cleared us to cross runway 31 left, which is the runway that is coming up over there. The sign also reads 31 left, perfect. So we are cleared to cross. Strobe light on. You can really feel the airplane at the maximum weight here. So both sides clear. Clear to cross and on this frequency. Alright, so no changes to the takeoff briefing. Squawk is set. Well done, taxi checklist. Flight controls, checked. Flap setting, config 2. Radar and predictive wind shear, on and auto. Engine start selector, norm, ECA memo, takeoff, no blue. Taxi checklist complete. So tower frequency here is 1 to 3.9. Kennedy Tower Delta 740 ready for departure. Okay, they wanted Kilo 2, so that's the first one here.
Delta 740, Kennedy Tower, runway 4 left, winds 330 at 12 gusting 20. Fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff.
Approaching 0.
Fly runway heading,
4
runway 4 left, cleared for takeoff. American correction, Delta 740. Cabin crew, prepare for departure, please. So recall empty, that means we'll just have to get the departure frequency from the log. Well, we'll do that when we're airborne, because I don't want to block the runway here in New York for too long. Okay, ready? Takeoff.
On runway 04 left.
This must be our heaviest Airbus takeoff yet. Manflex 47, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue. Knots, checked. V1. Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Nav, checked. Autopilot 1.
Delta 740, contact departure.
Contact departure, Delta 740. So, flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Also turn the first pack on, and then I'm heads down really quick. ATC com, message record, clearance 1257. Okay, I'm back. Kennedy departure, Delta 740, passing 2000, climbing 4000.
Delta 740, Kennedy departure, radar contact, cleared direct code.
Clear direct code, Delta 740, flap 0, speed checked. Okay, so direct to code. And insert, nav. Climb. Approaching. Vertical speed. $1,000 to go.
Delta 740, climb and maintain flight level 200.
Delta 740, climb and maintain flight level 200. First climb 20,000 blue. So, this is looking quite good. Alright, acceleration flow pattern is complete. And with that, we've made it out of Kennedy. So, the sun is slowly coming down already. Let's get the sunshade down. So we still have the AC essential feed fault and the ventilation extract fault. Now, interestingly enough, that does not seem to cause any ECAM to pop up. So, yeah, so be it. We'll just assume these are on the MEL, so that's gonna be fine for me. Actually, do we have a MEL available here? Pilot briefing, documents. Well, there's a QRH in here. But it would be kind of nice if we had some index or so, because I really don't want to have to scroll through the entire QRH like this now. Okay, doesn't matter, we're not going to touch this. Let's go back into the flat plan here. Give me the OFP. That's probably going to be more useful. Well, so that was an interesting one. What can we say about say intentions then, as that is kind of the main focus of our departure, isn't it? Overall, I think it did a pretty good job. The pushback instruction was a little strange. I think I'll have to check with the developers if there might be a bug in there regarding the facing into that direction or the other direction.
Maintain flight level 260.
Delta 740, climb and maintain flight level 260. So I think there might be a little bug with the face left or face right instructions, respectively tail to somewhere, or do they want the nose to somewhere? Because on our flight from Boston to Los Angeles, just like on this flight now, we basically had to make a 180 turn just in order to get back to the taxi route that they wanted later. So I think there may be something over there. But that's exactly the reason why I wanted to join the team, not just doing videos for them, but also as a tech advisor, because that means that I can tell them about such problems, get them fixed, and thereby help to develop an actually good ATC add-on, which I think they're on a pretty good track to. Okay, so passing 10,000, lights off, signs off, EFIS CPs are set anyway, then clear and copy please. So let's see, cruising 320, optimum 330, maximum 350. So I suppose we could just go to level 340 straight away. Let's see where the planned step climb is. Yeah, an hour after departure.
Delta 740, contact Teterboro approach on 126.7.
126.7, Delta 740. Teterboro, Delta 740, passing 1,400, climbing flight level 260.
Delta 740, Teterboro departure. Good evening, Teterboro, altimeter 30.18.
Altimeter 3018, Delta 740. So, QNH 3018 is thrust check passing 12,300. Now.
Delta 740, altimeter 3018, continuous file to Seattle.
Altimeter 3018, continuous file, Delta 740. Alright, cool. I think that's pretty much everything. Now, just for the sake of it, I'm not sure how well implemented CPDLC is in the US just yet. I know that in my airline we can't use it, so we can only log on to KUSA to get our clearance, which is how you get the PDC in the real world. But I know that over here in the simulation, CPDLC
Delta 740,
works.
climb and maintain flight level 310.
Delta 740, climb and maintain flight level 310. Set, 31,000 checked. So I know that here in the simulation it is simulated, so let's just send a notification to KUSA. Notify. And here we go. Next ATC Kusa. Again in the real world, at least with our A330s, but they have a rather old CPDLC equipment, I have to say that as well. So for example, in many places in Europe we can't use it either. It works, you know, with the Irish, with the British, with the Scottish, and that's it. It doesn't work with any of mainland Europe. So it is a rather old system that we have on our aircraft. So I don't know if it would work in the US if we had a more modern one. Not exactly sure. In any case, what would happen in the real world in our A330s is you log on the KUSA on the ground, they accept you straight away, then they send you the PDC via CPDLC, and you keep connected because they might send you revised clearances over time, but basically once you're in the air passing 10,000 it's going to automatically lock you off, and that's it. Nonetheless, I know that with same tensions it works, so we are going to use it for today's flight, and I think that's everything I've got for you for now. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us.
Delta 740, contact Seattle approach on 119.2.
119.2, Delta 740. Alright, so we'll call the approach 119.2. Seattle approach, Delta 740, approaching 12,000.
Delta 740, Seattle approach, good evening. Seattle altimeter 29.80, expect the ILS runway 16 right approach into Seattle.
Altimeter 2980, expect ILS 16 right into Seattle, Delta 740. So, Santa has previously already cleared us to descend via the arrival down to 5,000, which is exactly what we're doing now. By the way, interesting Phoenix bug over here, that it actually descends below the altitude, then climbs again, now goes back into descent. Definitely not how the Airbus should behave. But in any case, that's the piece of preparation we have here. So, we're clear to descend 5,000, that's below the MSA, therefore, we gotta pay a bit of attention over here. MSA is 6.4, nonetheless. By the time we are passing Woody, we have already passed the high terrain, so anything down here is actually safe to descend that low. Let's actually see if we've got some minimum vectoring chart or so. It's just the class Bravo over here. Not really interesting. No, it would be nice if we had a chart for the minimum radar vectoring altitudes, because that would give us a little bit more information than just the MSAs, but in Europe you find that often. Over here, unfortunately, not so much. Right, isn't a problem though. Here we are, and we do have the terrain display up, so we do know all of the terrain is to the left, so none of that should really be a problem. Passing the last high terrain right over here. Yeah, Delta really needs to clean their aircraft. Look at this.
Captain, the cabin is ready.
Thanks. Okay, passing 10,000, so the lights are on, the signs are on, LS, constraints.
Please turn off all electronic devices and stow them until we have arrived at the gate.
What else do we
Kindly
need?
put your tray tables away. Ensure your seats are in the full upright position and fasten your
Progress, GPS primary,
seatbelt. Delta
and
Airlines
accuracy
staff will
is
provide you
high.
with information regarding your connecting flights. Thank you for your cooperation.
Alright, so far so good.
Delta 740, proceed direct Finca. Descend and maintain 4400 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 16 right approach.
Delta 740, direct Finca, descend 4,400 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS 16 right approach. So, Finca, where's Finca? Here it is. Man, 6 miles final. Okay. Well, if that's what he wants, then that's what he gets. But it's not going to work to maintain 4,500 until established there. Let's keep the speed up for now. So they sent out 4,400 blue. What's the temperature? +6, so we keep the anti-ice on for the time being. Alrighty. So, that is most certainly a very nice direct here. Hello, Emmanuel here.
The cabin is now secure for landing.
Thank you. Oh, look at that. Now we can clear the approach checklist, please. Barrel reference. QNH 2980. Seatbelts on. Minimum. Barrel 615. Auto brake. Low. Engine start selector. Norm. Approach checklist complete. So, I'm sorry for the little time skip over here. Apparently there was something wrong with the recording software and it just interrupted the recording. But in any case, we are right back on track. So, 10 miles to Finca. And, well, maintain 4,400 until the localizer. That is not going to work. But he cleared us for the approach, so let's go down to 1,900. Here we go. 1,900 blue. Okay. So, approach phase is active, speed managed. Let's start slowing down. Man, look at this. What a beautiful sight. I have a feeling we have once again picked a very, very good flight time here. It's going to be a stunning sight approaching Seattle. Let's already change over to nighttime charts here, so that we are not going to block ourselves later. Looks like we'll fly right over Boeing Field, so VFR traffic may be a bit of a concern. So field elevation is 600 if I'm not mistaken. 400 they say down here, yeah. Okay, makes sense, the minimum is 600. Engine anti-ice off. Look at this, man. Okay, let's hope it slow down somewhat. Full speed brake. Of course, we're getting really close now. Let's see, along the route it's still 7 miles. Yeah, we definitely need that speed brake. Flaps 1. Speed check, flaps 1.
2,500.
Checked. Alright, gear down.
Delta 740, contact Seattle Tower on 119.9er.
119.9er, Delta 740. Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2, glide stop star, localizer star, flaps 2. Speed check, flaps 2. Close loop. Flaps 3. Speed check, flaps 3. And yeah, speed brake disagree because it's auto retracting. That's fine. Here we go. Flaps full. Speed checked, flaps full. Seattle Tower, Delta 740, ILS 16 right. Landing checklist, Mika memo, landing
Delta 740, Seattle Tower, winds 220 at 7, runway 16 right, clear to land.
Runway 16 right, clear to land, Delta 740. Okay, we are clear to land. Let's just pre-select the ground here, 1 to 1.7. So, landing checklist is complete, we're clear to land. Mr. Approach altitude, 2000 is set, and then everything is done, so let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun down here.
Approaching 16 right.
Fully intentional. Speed check correcting. And 3 wides is seen. Land.
Minimum.
Continue. So now the radio altimeter will go nuts as we fly over the wall.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Spoiler, reverse green, decel.
1,200 meters remaining.
70 knots.
900 remaining.
Alright, here we are. Welcome to Seattle. 5 hours and 14 minutes.
Delta 740, welcome to Seattle. Contact ground on 121.7.
1 to 1.7, Delta 740. Seattle ground, Delta 740, request taxi to the gate.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just landed at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. What a smooth landing, I must say. It would
Delta
definitely
740,
be rated an
taxi to
8.
A13 via Papa, cross runway 34 center, then cross runway 34 right, then Bravo, Whiskey. Have a great day.
With a temperature of
Delta 740, taxi gate Alpha 13 via Papa Bravo Whiskey, cross runways 16 center and 16 right.
today. Please remain seated until we reach our final parking position.
So we're on Papa,
On
we
behalf
go
of
all the way
Captain
straight
Daniel,
and then
First
towards
Officer
Bravo.
Lee, and the entire crew,
So that's over
Sarah,
here.
Mike, Jessica, and David, we wish you a wonderful evening and hope to see you again soon.
I really like how the flight attendant gives some feedback on the landing
Approaching
there.
3-4 center.
You know, without giving all those things that simmers usually like to listen to, like landing rate and stuff like that. That's not stuff that you would actually care about in the real world. But, you know, making a comment like that, I think it kind of adds to the immersion, doesn't it? So, after landing checklist. Radar and predictive wind shear off, after landing checklist complete. So we continue via Papa, Bravo and Whiskey, and our gate is Alpha 13. Let's actually try and find that one. So Alpha 13 is in the back all the way over there. Okay, so we continue Bravo to the right, then Whiskey all the way into the corner.
Approaching 3-4 right.
Yep, we're clearly across that one. Strobes on. Clear on the left side. So, 10 for the turn. So, this is where it transitions into Quebec. We can basically go straight on the Whiskey over here. Entering the ramp. I know, I'm cutting the corner a little bit here, but officially we weren't clear for Quebec, so that's fine with me. Okay, great. So, off to the left. And then all the way to the gate. Let's quickly prepare GSX for this as well. And look at that, it's even working for once. Or at least doing something. So, Alpha 13. No follow me needed. Ampling by shipboard. Start APU. So, cramped into the corner over there. Alpha 11, Alpha 12, we are one further to the right, so over there. So, Alpha 13 is this one to the left. I'll definitely keep both engines running here. I'm not going to do a single engine taxi. You can see how the aircraft is already decelerating with even both engines running. So, lights off. So, do we have ground staff? Yes, there's a marshal over there. So, Alpha 13, here we go. A little bit more thrust, just to be sure we don't stop here. Might go a little bit uphill right now. Back to idle. And stop. So, park brake set, APU avail, APU bleed on, and here we are. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Cool, 0246. That should be well ahead of schedule. Disarming the doors. Awesome. And the engines are far enough down, so beacon off, seatbelts off. External is connected, wonderful. Then we might as well just shut the APU. And there we go. So that should be our
Ladies and
message.
gentlemen,
Brake
we have now
connected.
parked at the gate here at Seattle-Tacoma International
So
Airport.
parking checklist.
On
Parking
behalf
record
of
trucks.
Captain Emmanuel, First
Brakes
Officer
released.
Lee, and
Engines
the entire
off.
crew, we wish
Wing
you
light
a
off.
wonderful
Fuel pumps
stay,
off. Parking
a
checklist
beautiful vacation,
complete.
safe travels to your next destination. Thank you for flying with Delta
Well, my
Airlines
friends.
today, and we hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.
I think we could have said it no better than our flight attendant did. Thank you for flying Delta Airlines. As always, like, comment and subscribe. Let me know how you liked our approach by, say, Intentions AI. I'm most certainly looking forward to your feedback on that one. And with all of that out of the way, as always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.